Committee, the 30, and then I'm gonna do a class of one day, hopefully, that is natural grocers, what is on last year. Where we see who can volunteer to come back. Okay, that's the next. So you may stop by if you have time, if you're doing so. Tomorrow, 2:50, you gotta leave.
And you are.
Yeah, and I just, you know.
Okay, but it could be Thursday. Okay, I'll see, depends on. So, I'll get the other ready, it's the world swing. She's the deal. She's girls that are running live.
Interested to know what she's doing.
She is doing, I had tons of people, it's three treatments, so we can't actually three treatments. Probably.
I'm used to that.
It's not.
So I guess.
So it's. You do it.
Yeah.
You know, the physical game, the physical line, the old stuff. And then the second piece.
You got a microphone?
So, she's the only one who I know.
Welcome, everybody. I'm talking into the microphone for the Zoom participants, not for you all. So let me know if you can't hear me. Okay, can everybody hear me so far in this room? Okay, and Ed, can the Zoom folks hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thanks. And I'm gonna try the other microphone to see if this one works.
Okay, can Zoom participants hear on this one as well?
I assume so.
Okay. So, just to let everybody know, the Zoom participants don't hear you all unless I bring a microphone to you. So that's a little frustrating for them. So if we have comments or questions, we'll run a microphone over to you. We do have one big microphone on the shelf back there, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't, to allow all the Zoom participants to hear. But Zoom participants, thank you for your patience in as we work out the kinks of trying to do this hybrid class. And I thank myself for learning how to do that soundboard. Minimally, I took notes and I took lessons, and I still am not a troubleshooter. And I want y'all to turn around and see Ed in the back and just thank you so much to Ed, because he knows how to troubleshoot. And when I've been panicked, he's come to the rescue more than once.
Are your Zoom meetings available after class online?
Yes, on our Live Lifestyle Medicine, the question, yeah, you heard it. The recordings are available on the Live Lifestyle Medicine website. Okay. And they're just down at the bottom of the page, right, Scott?
Yeah, it's on the homepage. Homepage of the website has the most recent class is always there, that the most recent one. And then if you go to the class archives, you can see all the previously recorded classes. And if you're not new to the website, just go to the website tutorial at towards the bottom of the homepage. You'll see it there. It's 11-minute video recording of how to navigate the website and access all the resources and stuff.
Yeah. And also, I just want to announce that tomorrow, Charlie begins a new series of classes at Natural Grocers from 2:15 till 3:30. And we may have an overflow. And if that is the case, he may do another class the next day, depending on the numbers. But so that's another option for anybody. It won't be a hybrid class. It's an in-person at Natural Grocers in their community room, which is right inside the door. So if you can make it to a daytime class, and you can read the schedule that he'll be following also on our website for the topics, etc. Okay. So tonight's topic is more of a very, very short presentation and mostly a hands-on activity. But I just want to start with an article from Forks Over Knives by Michaela Carlson. She's a registered dietitian, and you can go to their website, and it's a great article called Reading Nutrition Labels and Food Packaging, 4 Tips for Savvy Shopping. So the first thing she has to say, the first tip is focused on food without labels. So that's really what we are trying to do is most of our diet or our nutrition should come from foods that need no packaging and need no labeling. Or maybe they're packaged, but like raisins or beans, it's just one ingredient in that food. And so if you just picture your refrigerator full of green kale and yellow lemons and red apples and an array of fruits and vegetables, rainbow colors. And then your pantry stocked with black, white, brown, red, orange, yellow legumes, and maybe some canned products or potatoes and sweet potatoes and nuts and seeds. All of those typically don't need packaging. But we know that it's much easier to maintain this kind of whole food, plant-based nutrition by some lightly processed or lightly packaged things like cans of beans or tomato sauce or tomato paste, and things like some wraps or some crackers or some pizza crust and such things like that. So those will have labels. And maybe some box products like our plant milks or our pastas, which we're gonna look at a pasta that I eat in a minute. So the next tip is don't believe anything you read on the front of the package. And, that's Jeff Novick's. I think you all know Jeff Novick, or if you don't, we have a video of his on our website that's really wonderful. And they have so much marketing material and it's unregulated by the FDA. It's supposed to be regulated, but the FDA legally and practically just doesn't have the bandwidth to oversee all of that. And I'm going to talk about some specific claims that they're allowed to make completely unregulated and some that's supposed to be regulated, but it's not so much. And then, of course, read the ingredients list. So we're aiming for a list that's short and doesn't have ingredients that we can't pronounce or we don't know what they are. And we're also looking for, be careful of ingredients that end in OSE, because what does that mean? Sugar, yeah. It's a kind of sugar. And ingredients are listed in descending order. So, but for example, if they say wheat is first, and then they have next maltose, high fructose corn syrup, and glucose, that's 3 different ways of writing down sugar. But by weight, that might be more than the weight of the first top ingredient, the whole wheat. So we gotta read, that's the way the marketing or the companies do it. They just parse out the sugar into several different kinds, but it really adds up. And then also make sure it says 100% whole grain if you're looking for whole grain. And then the 4th one is just check the nutrition facts label for the panel. And we are going to talk about that today. And we're going to see a couple of videos. The label changed starting in 2018 and the whole rollout of it ended in 2021. And we'll look at some of those changes that were made. And some were helpful in some ways and some maybe not so helpful. So I think we'll look at that with our, we'll look at the fat. We have something about the fat content on one of the videos that we're going to watch. And the cholesterol, if it's plant-based, how much cholesterol will we see on the food label? Zero, because no plants have cholesterol. So if you do see cholesterol on there and you're looking for a plant-based food, make sure that there isn't any cholesterol there, or it's hidden in there somewhere. And then, sodium is 2,300 milligrams is the upper limit for humans that we're supposed to get, but most of us, especially at our age, dealing with high blood pressure and different health issues, more like 1,500 is better. And Jeff Novick has that, and I know Scott, you've talked about this, and probably Charlie too. Make sure that his trick is to make sure the number of milligrams of salt per serving doesn't exceed the number of calories per serving. So that's one way to check that. And then sugar, we talked about how they can label. I mean, I started looking at websites that said all the different words for sugar, and there's 60, there's so many different words for sugar. So you could check that out yourself and get more familiar with what means a sugar. And the new labels do have the great addition is that it does show us the added sugars. So what's normally in the ingredients and then what has been added on, and do we really need all that added on sugar? And supposedly, well, the regulation is, or the guideline is 25 grams of added sugar for females and 36 grams of added sugar for males. And sometimes you can just have a can of soda and exceed the daily added sugar so quickly. So I think that's a wonderful thing on the new label, and I try to avoid added sugars whenever possible because I am so addicted to sugar, so it's really hard. And, oh yeah, so I just want to mention the health claims. So we were saying on the front of the label, they make all these promises, and there's 3 different health claims or ways that they can write on the package, misleading packaging claims. Health claims, structure function claims, and nutrient claims. So the FDA sets the standards for all of those, and supposedly the health claims is an evidence-backed statement relating a food or food component to a disease or health outcome. And these claims have to be reviewed by the FDA before the companies are allowed to use them. But the structure function claim describes the effect that a substance rather than a nutrient or food has in affecting the normal structure or function of the body. So just by playing with the words, and this is unregulated, all the company has to do is submit a letter of intent to using the claim, and they have to say this statement has not been evaluated by the FDA on the packaging. So here's a couple of examples just to show. A health claim would be lowers cholesterol. So they're not allowed to say that unless it's been reviewed by the FDA. But the structure function claim can say helps maintain normal cholesterol levels. So it's basically saying the same thing, kind of, or making you think, oh, cool, I'll be able to regulate my cholesterol. And that does not have to be regulated. Or reduces risk of osteoporosis. That's the health claim that's supposed to be reviewed. The structure function claim could be helps build strong bones. So it's very deceptive, or can be very deceptive. And so the bottom line is, remember, the fewer packaged foods we eat, the better. Just try to eat in our whole natural state of food as possible, and judiciously just figure out how to read the labels. And it was fun to take a dive into reading labels, and I only touch the surface. It's one of those things, the more you start reading, the more there is to read, and you can go deep. So I just want to call out again Michaela Carlson in that article. I thought it was very useful and helpful. And now I just have a very short slideshow. There's 2 little videos and then just a picture of a food that I want us, I'm gonna give handouts so that we can figure out the food labels that you all brought, and there's a couple that I have that are kind of funny. To realize, oh my God. And I have a ton of food labels up here if anybody needs extra food labels. And for the Zoom participants, once we give the handout, just to let you know, Scott put the handout in the Sunday newsletter, and Ed is going to put the handout in the chat box when we get there. So you guys will have that available, and of course you have your food labels at home. So any questions so far? Okay, so we have a 4-minute little talk by McDougall, Dr. McDougall, who's no longer with us. This is from his early years, and oh, he's so wonderful. And so
And he's so young there.
oh, he's so young there, he's so young. Yeah, I don't know how young he is, but this is just a nice little clip, kind of reiterating what we just talked about. So, Ed, if we could go ahead and run that.
John, we didn't want to show any particular products, so we took some beautiful packages. This bright red one had chocolate chip cookies in it. I'd have picked it because it was red, and again because it had chocolate chips in it. It's got a whole list of stuff that I can't even pronounce, let alone know what it means.
Yeah, I imagine you're confused, Dan, but there are some things that you can make out of this. For example, the first thing you ought to know is that by law, manufacturers are required to list the ingredients in order of appearance. So the first ingredient you see there is what is most in the package, and the second ingredient is the second most dominant ingredient. So you get some idea what's going on by the order of ingredients.
So I picked this up and it says bleached flour.
Yeah, that's what's most in there. You know, you'd rather have whole wheat flour, but keep going. I bet there's some other things in there.
Down about middle way, it says invert sugar, semi-sweet chocolate chips with artificial flavored emulsifier, brown sugar, corn syrup, molasses, on and on.
All right, did you listen to all those sugars? The molasses, the brown sugar, the invert sugar, the sugar, that's all sugar. Now what the manufacturer did is the manufacturer broke those sugars up into individual names so that they could be listed further down on the ingredients list. If they listed it as all sugar, which it really is, it might have appeared first, and then Dan, if you'd have picked it up and looked at it and you said, the first ingredient is sugar, I'm not going to buy that. So it's a little trick that the manufacturers do.
Here's another label off of a very popular snack food, and almost make my salivary glands work to think about it too. But it starts off with hydrogenated soybean and or cottonseed oil, and then it goes on cheddar cheese, sour cream, coconut oil, and on down.
All right, a couple of things you see there. First of all, they list 2 types of oils. See, that gives them the chance to buy the cheapest oil at the time of manufacturing. And then the second thing they did is they listed several dairy products, whey product, milk products, and so on. And again, they could put the milk products further down on the list by breaking them up. And so you need to read all the ingredients there, and you see, try and group them a little bit. You may want to avoid dairy products in your diet.
And then on all of these lists are things that I presume are additives or preservatives.
Oh yeah, confusing. I mean, I don't know what all those things are, and I can't pronounce half the names. And so it's best to avoid these things. I mean, some people have allergic reactions to them. You know, some of them are still under concern. And there are some that we do know about, like salt, for example. Yeah, you know that you should be on a low-sodium diet. A lot of people, it's very, very important. And so you want to pick that ingredient out. You're going to pick the sugars out. You're going to look at all the colors and additives and so on. And I think as a general rule, we can say that the least ingredients the better. And here's a better general rule. How about just not buying things in packages, Dan?
Oh, wait a minute, but I get hungry and I need something fast.
Well, there are all kinds of things that you can buy. You know, they call it peripheral shopping in the supermarket, where you shop around the outside, not the inside where all the packages are. And what you buy is you buy the grains and the potatoes and sweet potatoes and corn and various fruits and vegetables. And you can be certain that those ingredients are all right for you. I mean, after all, they were put in there by nature, and they've got to be right.
All right, you're suggesting then that we're going to have to take a new course in label reading in order to protect our health.
Yeah, but it's a simple course, Dan. I mean, we don't have to make too much out of it. I mean, look at the labels, think about some things that you know about. If these are dominant, if these are right up at the front of the list in the ingredient list, then put it back. And you know, you'll go to the supermarket shelf and you'll find one package of cereal that has a whole list of ingredients. Right next to it will be another package that just has a few things, maybe whole wheat flour or whole grains in it. And that's the one you want to buy. So do a little comparison shopping, but also, Dan, keep rereading the labels, because, you know, manufacturers will change things on you, and then, you know, you could be taking in a whole bunch of salt that you weren't taking in before.
Well, the message is we got to read the labels, that's all. And you keep reading and you keep watching McDougall's Medicine. Thank you.
And this is Jean Schumacher and Kim Campbell, and she's T. Colin Campbell's daughter-in-law. So she's married to, what's the name of her husband? I can't remember.
Nelson.
Is it Nelson? Is it Nelson? The Plant Pure Nation, that couple? So Kim Campbell, anyway, she's T. Colin Campbell's daughter-in-law, and she and Jean Schumacher have this YouTube together. And this is actually from 2018. And I really like Jean, and the handout that I'm gonna use is from, so our group is part of Building Healthy Communities. That's part of Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. And we have monthly meetings, and Jean showed us on one of our monthly meetings the way she used her handout. And she did an activity with everybody looking at food labels and putting them into piles of good to eat, not so good to eat, and really not good to eat. So kind of the green light, yellow light, red light system. And just as an aside, I was listening to Kim Williams, who was the former president of the American Cardiology Society. And he is really promoting, and I don't know if it's going to come to fruition or not, but there's a push in our country to put a green light, yellow light, red light system on the front of foods. And they have done this, I know, good luck, but they've done it in, I don't know what countries in Europe, and it has made an impact. The lousy foods have gone down and the healthy foods are being chosen. So I don't know how they did it with all the companies that are making those red light foods. I don't know how that's all working if they're, but it really has made an impact. And I wish that we would do that too. And there's also a push, Kim, now I don't want to say Kim Campbell all the time, Kim Williams. If you don't know him, he's another amazing guy. But he's also, they're pushing for the labels on the front of the package. So you don't have to turn it to the back. So maybe one of those things, maybe none of those things. Ray was chuckling loud in the back. Maybe it's not gonna happen. Scott, Ray has a problem.
I just heard on OPB today that Trump's initiative
Loud.
Is supposed to be addressing child obesity and good food for kids, which is like, really? But that's one of the things that they said they're going to address.
We'll see about that.
We'll
So-
see. Yeah, believe it when we see it.
And for kids in particular, do you know the Mastering Diabetes podcast? What's, oh, forget it.
Yeah, Cyrus Kambata and Robbie Barbaro.
Yeah, but Cyrus's wife and Lauren, there's a person with type 1 diabetes, and then Cyrus's wife, they do a podcast together, and they were really, really upset about the labeling on kids' food. Because we are just making kids sick from the get-go, and it's a travesty. So anyway, besides for us, we really need this kind of thing for kids. And they were talking about teaching their kids to read labels at an early age and making it fun to do. And when I looked online there's a lot of games that you can play. And I was having fun playing the game as an adult to figure out, it helps you read labels, and it's much more interesting than probably what we're gonna do tonight. It's not, it's just more playful and fun. And if you're into that, if you have kids or grandkids, I really suggest you look at the possibilities online for playing games with learning about nutrition labels and what's good and healthy, and having your children or grandchildren participate. Because again, that makes them more interested and more invested in their own health. Okay. Ed, could you please play the second one? And this is from minute 18 to minute 27.
Yeah.
So, well, let's talk about the nutrition label. They've just recently changed this, so I want to talk a little bit about this. And this was the label I put below that I saw to show the before and after. So let's talk a little bit about that label and
I'm
the
just going to
changes.
say that I'm looking down a lot because I'm actually looking at these labels on my phone, because I know you sent them to me, and it's really interesting. We're going to have them up on the screen too. But if I look like I'm not paying attention, I'm very much paying attention here.
Okay, just making sure. All right. So let's talk a little bit about this nutrition label, because this first nutrition label, the one on the left is the old one, and the one on the right is the new version. So one of the things that I don't like about the new label is they removed the calories from fat. Mm-hmm. And that really upset me. Mm-hmm. Because before I would calculate this and go, okay, there were 72 calories from fat as opposed to 230 calories for the whole, whatever this is. I don't even know what this is. Mm-hmm. So you would take 72 and divide it by 230 and find out this is really 31% fat, which if you look down below, it says the total fat is 12%. That's not right.
Yeah, that's based on weight, not calories. So that whole percent of daily value, I don't even look at that.
I know, but people do. So you look at this, and go, oh, this is only 12% fat. So this is, we want to keep fat down, the amount of fat we're consuming. It's not. It's actually 31.3% fat. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I don't like that they've taken away. Now, if you look at the new label, they've taken that completely away. So now to figure this out, we have to add another step in terms of math. So we have to take the 8 grams of fat, multiply it by 9, because it's 9 calories per gram of, within fat. So that's where we get the 72. So you have to take, and then you complete the next step, then, so it's one more step adding this to figure out.
How many people are going to pull out their calculator in the grocery store?
Right. I mean, it was bad enough to begin. I mean, at least you could estimate and look at, okay, 72 divided by 230, that's about a third. And it was, approximately. But now it's one more step. Again, putting that smoke screen over, us. Now, one thing I do like about the new label is if you look under total carbohydrates. Now before it said 37 grams, okay, but you didn't know where those grams were coming from. So in the new label, it still says 37 grams, but it says now 10 grams were added from sugars. And then they actually give you the percentage, so that's 20%. So overall, I really like the new change, adding the sugar in there and being being clear about how much sugar is actually been added to it, as opposed to natural sugar that might be in, say, a date or something like that.
Right.
But I don't like the fact that they've taken out the calories from fat. That really upset me a lot. So
I wonder if one day they will ever add added fats. You know,
that would
added
be a good
fats.
one
I
too.
would love if because they've already included added sugars. If they would include added fats, that way, when you buy that marinara sauce and there's grams of fat in there, you don't know how many are
Right.
natural or how many actually they added. So that I
Right.
think the next step. Hopefully, I don't know if they'll ever do that.
Well, let's look at a couple labels. We pulled up some labels. So let's look at some things, because I love looking at the ingredients of labels, because I am an ingredient detective. You know me. We'll be in the stores texting each other. Kim, is this okay? What do you think about this? And
I think the ingredients are the most important thing. If your ingredients are pretty wholesome, you don't really need to be going to the nutrient values.
So let's look at this first ingredient list, and we're going to say what it is, but we wanted to look at just exactly what's in the ingredients. Look at the second ingredient, sugar. Okay, and it's based upon water is going to be the first major ingredient. Then the second ingredient, it's in decreasing order. So,
and this is a vegan product, by the way.
Yeah,
it's a vegan product.
Yeah. So second ingredient is sugar. The third ingredient is corn syrup solids. So the second and third ingredients are both sugars. So this goes back to us talking about, having issues with that. So and then the third ingredient is corn and palm oil. So we know that oils are just not good for us. So
sugar and fat, those are basically the top ingredients in that one. So, just looking at that, I wouldn't even bother to go over to nutrition facts and be a detective in that way. So that's off my list.
Okay, so that was the first one. Let's look at the second one. I like this, the first part of it. It goes whole grains. And then you think, and this really bothers me because it says it's in parentheses. They say gluten-free oats and brown rice, millet, blah, blah, blah. All these things that make up the whole grains. But it kind of also gives your brain to think that way down lower is the other ingredient, when in reality, the second ingredient is tapioca syrup. And then we have evaporated cane juice and honey. And then we have sugar. And in this one, we have brown rice syrup. Then we have molasses. These are all sugars.
They're all sugars. And this is another vegan product, and it's something that you might think is healthy from looking at the front label, but clearly, not so.
All right, let's look at number 3. This one, woo, I don't even know what this is. Oh, it's some kind of cereal, some kind of processed cereal.
It's a cereal. It's supposed to be a wholesome cereal. It looks like it's mostly vitamins, first of all. You could probably lick the inside of the wrapper and get all of your vitamins that you need, your B vitamins for the day. But first ingredient, whole grain wheat. Second ingredient, sugar.
The third one, salt. Fourth one, corn syrup. Okay. The next one, trisodium phosphate. I couldn't. My brain just, I just go, oh my gosh. First of all, let's talk about this.
Yeah, tell me what it is.
Trisodium phosphate, first of all, is a cleaning agent. It's
oh gosh.
It's used to degrease things. It's used as a stain remover. Okay. So and it's no longer used like in consumer soaps because of ecological reasons. Okay. But yet we still have it in our cereal. Okay, so it's used in this as a food additive. It's used as an emulsifier, and sometimes also they use it as like a foaming agent, or sometimes like a whipping agent, if you need to get like a creaminess, like a whipped cream kind of thing. But I just thought, oh my gosh, they're using something that is a cleaning agent. Okay, in this cereal. Okay, good. The next ingredient I just did a webinar on this. It's called BHT, which is butylated hydroxytoluene. It has a cousin called BHA, which is another one that they use. They're both preservatives. BHA is butylated hydroxyanisole, but they're both used
So any questions or comments about Jean and Kim's presentation? You saw all the writing about the sodium and the sugars and, okay. So ready to do an example? Okay, so I'm gonna pass out the handouts. And there's room for, they're two-sided, so you can do two labels. Does anybody need labels? Okay, and before you, oh, do you guys have pens? Anybody need a pen? Okay. I got that. Really right. Okay. Oh, you, okay. So you want to help me through your, I'll give it to you. Thanks. And Ed, would you attach the handout? Oh, can you also explain why it's about the salt and calorie or the, I don't understand it. Oh, it's just a kind of a guideline to help you realize you don't want to exceed. If you're looking for 15 minutes a day or 23 minutes a day, it's not like it's this. It's not. It's just Jeff Novick's trick or tip. It's not like scientific thing. Yeah. Yeah, it's just to help you notice. Just keep it. Yeah. Did everybody get a handout? Okay. And then thank you. And then does anybody else need food label? I'd like to know. I just got one simple one. Okay, so there you go. So before you do yours, let's. I think we looked at the, well. Let's go to the next slide, please. Okay, so this is something that I ate. And I am a stress eater, and there's been a lot of stress in my life recently. And two things, we all know we should go to the grocery store when we're not hungry, and probably when we're not stressed either. So this is a product that came out, I became whole food, plant-based or vegan in 2015, and all of these snack foods or junk food, vegan foods weren't so readily available. Over the past 10 years, they've just exploded. And so it's really easy for me to give in sometimes. So this deliciously dairy-free key lime cheesecake, it is, if you notice, it's dairy and soy-free, gluten-free. It's got the certified plant-based label on the front, so you think, oh, that sounds like it might be nominally healthy. We know just by looking at it, cheesecake's probably not be that healthy. But so it's a small box, and inside is this thing, and inside this, the actual cheesecake, there was a good ½ inch. It did not fill this whole thing. So to me, looks like, one serving or so. And I know that it's not, but I know my appetite. And I ate my whole dinner, then I opened the cheesecake, and let's look at the nutrition label. That's the next slide. Okay, so if we're looking at our handouts, so I want you all just to practice to fill in for this cheesecake. So serving size, what's this, well, how many servings do we have in this? Okay, 3. Okay, and what's the serving size? One slice. One slice, so how do you know? I mean, you just have to divide it up into thirds. And or if you have a scale, you can weigh 133 grams. If you want. So when I am stress eating, I make sure I don't look at the label. And so I'm glad we're doing this today, because it's gonna help me be more accountable. And if anybody got these, I gave these crackers to somebody, same thing with this. There's 6 servings in this. How many servings for me? One. Like in the space of a half an hour, gone. And I'm not even full. I'm just like, well, I mean, I might be a little full, but not that full. So, and I made sure I did not look at the label, because I basically ate at least 3/4 of a day's worth of calories when I ate this, and it's ridiculous. So, preparation is one thing that I need to be more attuned to. But, so if you write down, there's 1 slice, and there's about 3 in the servings per container. Everybody see that place on there? And then, how many calories from fat? So this is the new label. It doesn't say how many calories from fat. There's 32 grams of fat. So what do we have to multiply that by to get the 9 times 9?
But if you
So
multiply it by 10, you know that it's about 300 calories. So
Yep. And it's 288.
Yeah.
So we have 288 calories from fat. Total calories is 480. So now we have to get the percent of fat. So you can use your phone calculators, or I brought a couple of calculators if anybody needs one. Anybody need a calculator?
So 60%.
So, yeah, I got 58%. So 288 divided by 480, because we're taking the number of calories divided by, of fat divided by the total calories for 1 serving. And then that's 0.5833 times 100 is 58% fat. So how much fat is recommended? Is this less than 15% fat is the next question on our handout? No way, not even close, okay? So way over, and that's for 1 serving. So the ratio of calories to sodium, what's that?
530. So we're not too far.
480 to 530, right?
We're only 100 over.
So more than we need. We want to go less than, not more than, so that's not so hot. Is this 1 to 1 or less? No. How many grams of sugar? Total sugars is how much? 23. And how much of those grams are added sugars? 21 added sugars. Okay, so for a whopping 42%. So is sugar one of the top 3 ingredients? We need to go to the next slide for that.
I have a question. Back on the previous slide, do we have to do the same calculation for sugars as we do for fats? Is it sugars in weight? 21 grams. Is it 42? Is 42% accurate, or do we need to do the same thing we did with
That's
fat?
probably, you're right, you have to be. So
I don't know.
23 times 4 is what, 92, 94. Yep, 94. I don't know. But that's a good thought. But let's keep rolling.
Are these calculations written somewhere? Because my brain just can't follow it at all.
Oh, do you have the handout?
Yeah, I'm looking at it, but I don't understand
Okay, so,
it. Are you looking at this bit or the chart?
I'm sorry, I'm looking at the chart, yeah. So when we do the exercise, Charlie and Scott and I will come around.
Okay, help.
And Pam and Kathy will come around.
So,
Okay, so, can we, yeah, okay, so is sugar one of the top 3 ingredients here? Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Cane sugar, there's cultured sugar, cane sugar, molasses, lots of different kinds of sugars, but it is one of the top. Yep. And how many grams of protein? Oh, that's the fat. 3 grams of protein, not so much. And then to the ingredient list again. So any ingredients that you don't recognize? Many for me.
it's a chemistry set.
Yeah, there's a lot. So should this be a green light, a yellow light, or a red light? Red light, for sure.
It's a red light flashing.
Yeah, red light, hugely flashing, and I ate at least a little bit more than 2 pieces of it. So I ate a lot of fat and a lot of calories.
Yeah, because it's 480 calories per serving, so then that's
so
almost 1,400 calories for the whole cake.
Yeah, and I was pretty close to being done with the whole thing, so it's not good. Okay, so that was an example, and let me just go over the fat thing calculation again. So and can you go back to the, okay, so we see that there's 32 grams of fat. Do you see that? Yeah, on the left. And so each gram of fat is 9 calories. So if we want to know the number of calories of fat, we multiply 32 times 9.
Where did you get 9?
There's 9 calories in each gram of fat.
Okay, that's just something you know. That's a
Yeah,
constant.
yeah. So carbohydrates and protein have 4 calories per gram, and fat has 9 calories per gram. So it's more than double the amount. So we multiply 32 times 9, and that gives us 288. So we know there's 200, in one serving there's 480 calories. 288 of that, those calories are fat, from fat. So if we want to figure out the percent, we divide 288 by 480 and then multiply by 100 to get the percent of fat. So
60%. 60%.
yeah, you can say 60%.
And what's the ideal, or what is what we're going for?
15% or so.
10 to 15.
15%, 10 to 20, but 15% or so, yeah. So fat is really, really an important nutrient. We need fat, but we don't need it at the levels that we have it here, and or this kind of fat. So then if you see the questions below, is the serving size reasonable? So my answer was no, because 1 piece is not. It's super easy to eat 2 pieces, lickety split without even thinking about it. So that was my answer. Is this product suitable for children, athletes losing weight? No one. And then, if this is a product you should eat, but it's not, so. And then just to go over the top part of this handout, keep in mind, we kind of already went over this. Do you recognize the ingredients? Is the serving size reasonable? Can you personally agree with that? Can you really stick with, 5 crackers, or is it going to be easy to eat 10? Me, I can parse them out, and I'll tell myself I'm just going to eat those, and then I go back and put more in, and then I just don't even care, so I just keep on going. So it's kind of crazy.
What is the product? I don't even see the product name.
So that is this.
Oh, I see. It's not on this sheet.
No, that's your sheet to do yours. I'm just reading from mine because I completed one for this product. So that's all. So I just gave you these handouts so you guys can do them. But I just want to show you one other tricky labeling. So if we go to the second, keep going, and keep going. Okay, this one. So this is just a different kind of deceptive labeling to me. So I think this is delicious. Organic edamame and mung bean fettuccine. But how many grams of protein does it say?
42. Whoa.
So for people who think they need protein or want a lot of protein, they go, cool, wow, 42 grams, I'm gonna get a lot in one serving. And then you notice it says in small letters, can you read the size of the serving?
Per 15 ounce?
Per 3.5 ounce serving. So you think, okay, next slide. So now we look at the serving size. What does it say the serving size is? 2 ounces. And then they give you the column with the 2 ounce. So there's 4 servings per container of 2 ounces each. But they deceive you on the front and on the back. Then you see the per 3.5 serving, which is a lot less than 4 servings per box. There's your label for that. So that's just frustrating to me. A regular size serving, according to them, is 24 grams of protein, but they're trying to make it look like it's a lot more on the front, because they're not really telling you the true serving size that they've decided is in the box.
It's surprising they didn't put the whole box load of cow protein on the front.
Yeah, it's surprising they didn't put the whole box load. Yeah, so it's different kinds of deception that it's just frustrating to me because I feel like they're acting like we're stupid or something, you know? And I just want to have honesty and to have transparency and to have people that are making this stuff care about our health.
Knowing the food industry, they probably have studied how long the average person stands in front of a shelf.
Remember, nobody can hear.
Oh. Knowing the food industry, they probably studied how long any individual stands in front of a shelf or in front of a food label, and they know that it's not a lot of seconds, and so they probably know that we don't study it that closely. I think
how does adding 1.5 more ounces make 0 sodium turn into 10?
I don't know, that is a good, yeah, and sometimes you look and think, okay, so Ed, I think you're saying there's gotta be some sodium in the 2 ounce serving?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
But they're allowed to say there's nothing.
I know when it comes to fat, they're able to say if it's less than 1 gram per serving, they can say 0. They can round down, basically.
Yeah, I actually called, I think it was Van Camp's Pork and Beans one time because it said there's no fat, but it says on the label there's pork. Wait a minute.
Defatted pork, I guess.
But they said there wasn't enough to make it enough that they had to report it.
Okay, so let's do some work on our own labels now, and Zoom folks, go ahead with the handout and labels you guys have, and let's report back to each other. Do you have a green light food, a yellow light food, a red light food? What do you want to share about what you want
Three pieces.
And we've got another handout that Scott's gonna give, and it is available on the website, Live Lifestyle Medicine, in our resources department too. It's just reading a food label. It is the old food label when it did give you the number of calories from fat, but it basically tells you about it. I'm gonna turn off the mic for a minute while we all, or 2 minutes while we work on this.
There's a color version of this on the website. It's easier to read.
If you have any questions, Scott and Charlie and I have, you know, Jamie, just to give people info. Would you like a label?
No, I just never buy these kind of things. I just get the whole thing. Well, I just see like that whole grain or something from the farmer's market.
But I mean, like, do you?
I just eat, yeah, simple, just 2 or 3 different types of food, maybe just one time. Maybe curries.
Yeah.
Just put it in water and heat it up. And put a little oil in there after cooked it. You want some fat. Seasoning with herbs, and you can add things like tahini or something like that. Soy, some not so good, olive oil.
So for next week, we have a few videos to show. We have them in PowerPoint, lots of diagrams, separate. You can adjust the sound as well, or whatever. You can click whenever. Or pause basically back into the presentation. So it's better to have them separate. So we would have a folder which has the PowerPoint And then there's the other list videos, 1, 2, 3.
Okay, like on your jump drive?
Yeah,
Just do that.
yeah. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Okay, we can do it. Because for a while, it's a changing. So any questions?
No, I just buy, foods out of the bin, the whole thing.
So you don't buy with labels?
Well, I might get a clam.
Congratulations. And I've said over and over again, this is, you shouldn't have that. Because if you buy foods, it's grown in nature. Yeah, you don't have to worry. Yes.
Nope. I got the sheets as they go. Pretty good idea. Yeah, it's got more than 3 items. That's all you know. The red light already. Yeah. Right. So you usually what the other thing you talk about. The web puts in the screen looking and say, it's not so you're good. Good. So 35 in one ratio.
Right, and I was wondering about that, because it's like the fiber.
Are you going to check our homework?
Right. It tells you running out first.
Okay, then I.
Then you go. You want to take
Homework.
these 3 or 4 grams of fibers. That's a pattern. Yeah. So you want to be something called a 5-1. The 5-1 rule means it's 5 grams. There's 1 gram of fiber.
So learning.
So I found some cool
Yeah, so this is still better than eating. But you can get better.
But it's like, you know, it has this turn, so how do we do this?
I mean, it's a problem, it's already a process. So I think
Yeah, I agree.
But it's whole meat.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, my son will around something like that. I could see
So ratio of sodium to calories is 100 pounds.
You know what's funny? Once you taste the salt, that is so strong.
Yeah. You're dating on it, okay. It's fun.
I don't think you've ever met a fishy down. Yeah, I did a sleep stretch.
So if someone
You're at the board meetings, your budget is slept, and you still need one thing fast. Yeah, I mean, it's so convenient to do these things, but please not to. Very controlled, your own salt, oils and all that. Salty I really did processed people really good. So actually really a throwback British. No, it's really true. These younger people you can get anything. It's hard enough. They're younger and younger. I'm a physical therapist and I see all these people younger and younger. It's very
I know, so even when it's a big demand, it's still not healthy. So I don't want to. Yeah. But they do work so I don't. One tray, and that tray fits inside of it. So the blood beads spread out on the tray, two trays. Rinse them with
Yes. I just heard that today, so it's true.
I do that.
Sundance is just that for I buy.
And what they're designing.
Less
That's okay. Participants, if you want to type in the chat, Ed can share with us all your comments about what you learned, like maybe what was a green light or a yellow light, red light for you, and just walking around the room, I think some eyes were opened for some of the foods that we think might be healthier, might not be healthy. So, does anybody want to share what they learned? And I'll bring the microphone to you so to make sure Zoom people, like Jude, and let me just get, I want to talk to Jude and Dolores. Because they learned some interesting things. Would you mind sharing?
I thought the Trader Joe's Thai vegetable gyoza were pretty healthy.
It's 120 sodium to 70, so that's almost double. And then the fat content, was trying to be 45 divided by 70, it came up like 60% or something, pretty high. And so I thought that one might be one of the better choices, but didn't have any added sugars. And most of the ingredients you can pretty much recognize, but that's still a bit of a warning. Thank you.
And we talked about a switch for that is making hummus in the blender with ice water or ice cubes to make it nice and creamy without the tahini. You can just use the garbanzo beans and garlic and I served it to first of all, non-vegan, and I didn't tell them that I had made it myself and they loved it. And so I was really excited and it is good. And Michaela Carlson, that woman who I was reading the article from, that is her recipe. So it's probably in Forks Over Honest.
There is a big trick for hummus too. There's a very big trick for hummus that I learned from an Arab woman, and that is that you want to use the water that's in the can because it's filled with protein and it makes the hummus very fluffy.
Oh, really? The aqua fava, that's called, the liquid in the garbanzo. Yeah, you can absolutely use that as well. That's good. I freeze aqua fava sometimes, or I end up throwing away because they don't make anything from it, but you can even make a kind of whipped cream. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so it's great. Thank you, Jamie. Anybody else want to?
What's that?
Okay, we just wanted to point out that these two products both were pretty much 35% fat. But these have 2 grams of fiber and this has 9. And this is only 2 ingredients, soybeans and water. And this is a whole bunch of ingredients. So just taking a look at that. I wanted to just point out that there's this non-GMO verified, but that does not mean that it's organic. And it also doesn't mean that it's glyphosate free. So this non-GMO is a little bit deceptive as well. So always look for organic.
One thing that came up and I was helping someone else read a label was if it, if it doesn't, if it didn't, it said like enriched flour instead of whole wheat flour. So that's always a red flag there because it's not, doesn't say whole wheat. And then we didn't really talk about it in here tonight, but also on the handout I passed around later, it says, it should try to have 2 to 3 grams of fiber per serving. That's always a helpful hint that it's going to probably be whole grain and not enriched flour. And then there's another rule, it's not on the list, that Jeff Novick, the dietitian we've been referring to, there's called the 5-to-1 rule. And what that means is you want 1 gram of fiber for every 5 grams of carbohydrate in a serving. So if you look at the number of, like up there, it says total carbohydrate 20 on the 180 calories per serving one. So you have total carbohydrate 20, fiber is 14. So that's really high in fiber because it's essentially, that even beats the 5-to-1 rule. 5-to-1 would be, if it's 20 grams of carbohydrate, you'd want it to be at least 4 grams of fiber, because that would be 4 goes into 25 times, right? And so, like the product I was looking at, it was like 35 grams of carbohydrate and it was only 1 gram of fiber. So 35-to-1, not 5-to-1, right? So that's always a red flag that it's not whole grain. It's enriched, it's been processed, enriched flour. And so it's just another rule, but when you look at a label.
And do Zoom participants have anything to add? Oh, okay. Did you want to wait? And name the, so
I want to know where you got these because these fit all the criteria except the sodium. There's twice as much sodium as calories, but everything's got 7 grams of fiber.
can you name the product so Zoom people and everybody?
Savory mushroom noble true veggie burgers. But where did you get these? Do you know?
Yep, market of choice.
Okay, because these actually look like something I'd like to try.
Yeah, and it is unfortunate about the sodium, but I do like those a lot. And
Because all the ingredients I recognize.
yeah, it's all
Amazing. And I don't think it's organic. Oh, yeah, it is, yeah.
Yep, 10 grams of protein and 7 grams of fiber. And
I think that.
The sugar is way down.
Yeah.
It's 11% fat.
11% fat, sugar is way down. And I can't read the total. How many total grams of carbohydrate?
No, 22, oh, wait, 32.
32 grams. But tons of that is 5 or 7 grams.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that would be.
So meet all the criteria except
That
sodium.
is 7,
Yep.
7 grams of fiber.
Okay, so. Okay, so, gonna wrap up. So does anybody have any more questions or comments or insights or something? Oh,
Well, maybe on this, just about this topic, maybe on the website, you have which ingredients are not good, which additives. Because the product I brought with me was that I've been using a mushroom powder, 7 mushrooms, a Z natural fruits, and it has 7 natural mushroom powder, but it's got maltodextrin. And I wonder if maltodextrin in particular, or if there's a list of this is good, this is not good.
do you have any?
Nothing on that specific, just, it's got lots of ingredients. It's just kind of, we got to go back to the for the most part, don't want to eat foods that have a label. But you know, so we could get into the weeds. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, there's just something that's a processed ingredient. So it's just a matter of how far down the list is it, how many other ingredients are it in the whole overall product, and yeah.
Just to let you know, I'm looking at an alternative name for sugar. It's on the list, maltodextrin. Yeah. I thought it was a sugar.
Dextrose.
This is the, I mean, you can see it's a pretty long list. There's a lot of sugar. Oh, sugar. And you can find 100 websites that give you a list that.
And on the class website, if you go to the handouts from classes, there's a whole section on the food label reading. Has a bunch of different handouts, including the one I passed out tonight. And I also, that's where I added the worksheet that we're working with tonight is on there under the handouts from classes. You'll see a little section on tips for reading labels. And there's like 4 different handouts there. And it has a lot of the information that you were asking about too.
More than you well. We'll be around for I take a look at the books.
Next week is the magic of fiber for cancer and gastrointestinal health. So our topic next week. Yeah.
I registered for my daughter.
Oh yeah.
So I'm having an appointment and I got everything cleared out.
Yeah, definitely. You better do that later on.
So when I had first
just kind of get to know each other and see what's your health goals are and things like that.
Very hard to get into the office because you know, like unfortunately, ladies' time.
Oh, no.
Really.
That's always a trouble, huh? Yeah. Unfortunately, I heard that.
And I didn't feel very occupied behind the service, so I haven't been involved in this thing. I'm very surprised.
Yeah, I mean, probiotic supplements studies haven't really shown to be beneficial. And so, what's different? So fermented foods have some benefits, but that probiotic supplements have not. Oh yeah. One problem with some fermented foods is they're really high in sodium, so it's really hard. It's really getting careful. A lot of people.
That I did
Oh wow. You're not a problem, man. Yeah. Yeah, there is no too low of quality. Actually, there's tribes in Africa that get like less than 200 milligrams a day. And so the natural diet of whole plant foods, yeah, it's 18 milligrams in the food. So there really isn't a too low salt diet. Yeah. And if you're eating mostly unprocessed whole plant food, you're going to get them just the right amount. Eating processed food.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll see you soon.
I look forward to seeing
You need to buy a new house. It'll be an expensive venture. Anyway. I will tell you. Good seeing you. You'll be at the class. Okay. And I'm gonna be coming from Beckley from the tennis court. I'll tell you to meet me at the tennis court.